Well, let's now bring in a financial analyst, Muktar Mohammed, who joins me on the news for more updates. Good to have you join us, Mr. Mohammed. The projected revenue for the year 2025 stands at 34.82 trillion naira, and the expenditure is actually 47.96 trillion naira. We appear to be spending more than we will be generating. What to take about these estimates that you have heard or probably seen?
Well, it's not surprising that has been our budget over the years. We spend more than we earn. But again, you also have to key in that the government have already told us that they will be doing some borrowing. And so definitely that will mean that we are spending more than we earn, and also we are borrowing also in our expenditure. But again, what you're seeing is small because, again, you still have to go to the National Assembly, and you know what it means when it goes to the National Assembly. It doesn't always come back the same like what the executive have put in there. That has been our budget benchmark for a while now, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. And you said the key, and most of these things are based on revenue estimation, which we are not so sure that we'll be able to meet. So we might end up even borrowing more and spending more than we are earning going forward.
Let's look at the key economic projections, that this framework is based on. Talk about oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel. We're looking at daily oil production of 2.06 million barrels, and the exchange rate is projected at 1,400 naira to the dollar. How feasible really are these benchmarks considering the global economy?
One thing I like about this current administration is the ambitious nature in the way they prepare their budget. So very, very ambitious. You just named three very key indices that would definitely fund this budget. Even despite its estimate, the revenue is not even more than it's less than the expenditure. You look at an oil production of 2.06 million barrels per day. The last time budget we had an oil production of 1.7 million barrels. We are not able to meet it up to this time until we got to 1.44 million according to OPEC. But according to the government, we've done 1.7 million barrels, which is coming towards the end of the budget, because if you want to follow the government, they just came out with that report last month. So that's towards the end, we are meeting the target of 1.7 million barrels. At 2.06 million barrels, I think is extremely ambitious. 1.5 million barrels per day will go to the international OPEC. Have given us 1.5 million barrels per day, and that's what we have been allocated by OPEC. And the remaining 500,000 barrels per day will be distributed to local refinery through the naira to dollar swap deal. Hopefully that would happen, but I'm not so optimistic if you go by what we've seen, what we've heard, and the challenges of oil theft in the Niger Delta. Exchange rate of 1,400. We were excited some weeks ago when we saw that rate coming down, but today it's still doing about 1,600. Hopefully, we believe that it might end up at 1,500, but getting to 1,400 is very visible, especially with diaspora bond that we are expecting to come into stream. Some other, the reserve is buoyant. So that means that CBN might just be intervening in the market frequently to get it to that 1.4 million barrel. And you know what that means. Oil benchmark at $75 per barrel is very, very ambitious. Also $75 per barrel because of the coming of Donald Trump. Donald Trump always favored cheap oil price. America is the largest crude buyer in the world, and he's also not going to be doing that because he's going to make sure that some reserves are opened up and the new discoveries are added to the reserve. So he is favored of getting price low. So definitely that also may come with a challenge, because as it stands today now, the oil benchmark is about $76 per barrel. And so what that will mean is that if you go by the oil benchmark, $75 per barrel, even when we hit it, that means we might not be having anything to add into our foreign reserve. And that also will have its own challenge when we have any external issue that may come up. That might see our naira tumble again to the dollar. So it's a big, big challenge for the government. Hopefully, it's true.
All right, Mr. Mohammed. And finally, let's talk budget performance. How have we fared in recent years, and how optimistic are you? I mean, how do we make the most of the coming year?
Budget performance have always been poor. We don't normally get those estimates. We get it, and sometimes you look at the estimate, they are telling you just by and by what you've seen on ground. It does not correlate. So definitely, budget performance has been very poor. But if you want to look at people that have done budget performance, come out with data on budget performance, it's only Lagos State that seems to be doing between 80 to 75%. But when you talk about the Federation, ever since, even before the coming of Asiwaju, it has always been like that. Performance in budget has been very poor, either due to lack of funds that we have seen, or a lack of oversight function, or sometimes when we come to a budget that have to do with infrastructure, sometimes we just say this budget without even doing visibility study, cost of budgeting and engineering drawings and all those things. So sometimes we don't see this project see the light of the day in the budget. So definitely budget performance has been very poor, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Just look at the budget like you have just said. Expenditure is higher than revenue.
Financial analyst Muktar Mohammed, thank you so much for your time on TVC News at 7.